Hello, and welcome to another demo of mySocket. My name is Andre, and in this video, I want to show you some of the things that I've been working on over the last 2 or 3 weeks. The last few weeks have been very much around proving some of the technology and seeing if we can make, the tunnels work and the scalability and the any cost and the distributed systems and the zero trust type stuff and the clients. But what I wanted to focus on over the last 2 or 3 weeks is surfacing some more of the information that we collect under the covers, mostly performance, latency, monitoring, and that kind of stuff, and make it easier for users to kind of see what they have if you don't just want to use the CLI. So, for example, we have all kinds of dashboards that I use internally to keep an eye on what's going on. You can see, the sort of heat map of the duration of all the requests and the number of requests and all that kind of stuff. And we want to surface that. So with that, I'd like to introduce to you a portal that we've created, portal.mysocket.io. You can use it right now. You can log in using the same credentials that you use to log into the CLI or even the API. You can also use it to register new accounts. So let's just log in and look around for a little bit. So once we're logged in, we'll see a list of all the sockets that we've created. So this is one of my test accounts. So and then you can just click on any of them. It's pretty logical. You can also easily go to edit or remove directly. So if we just click on one and see what this is. So this is a socket that I was testing with this morning. You can see it has zero trust enabled. It has two email addresses and one allowed domain. So let's just go and edit that for a second, see what that looks like. So I can change the name, so I'll remove the exclamation mark. You can't change the type once it's created. And maybe, Andre is no longer in the list of allowed email addresses. So we'll update this socket, and then we can see the exclamation mark is gone, and we now only have john@thecontractor.com and corp.com directly. We can also see the live tunnels that are connected as an origin. And then finally, we can go to statistics. So these are some of the statistics from this morning. So you can hour, day, week. So you can see some of these statistics here, bandwidth and requests per second. So let's take a look at maybe another one that I just created a few minutes ago. So I'll go here. So same details. This is a HTTP socket. Tunnel is live, as you can see. And if we go to the statistics tab, you can see some of the same performance numbers. So we can see requests per second. So the blue one here is the 200 codes. And then you can also see the bandwidth. And I have a bunch of performance testing running. So you can see just doing about 1.5 megabits per second at, maybe 12 requests per second or so. So that is it for the sockets. So you can see exactly the number of sockets, the tunnels, and you can add it and create new sockets here as well. So for example, we create a HTTP socket. You can do that. So that's mostly what I wanted to show. There's also the settings, so you can obviously change your personal information, pretty self-explanatory. And if you wanted to, this is a feature that we didn't have up until recently. You can change your password now, which is very advanced as well. So I hope that will make the usability of the service a little bit easier. It allows me to expose some more of the information that we have as well. Some of the information that's not yet in here is collect quite a bit of audit trails, like who created which socket and tunnel, and when did the tunnel go up and down, as well as some of the zero trust stuff. So who logged in, when, from where, for what socket, and so on and so forth. So finally, I wanted to talk about one more thing. I also changed the way we authenticate tunnels. So previously, when you registered, you had to provide a public key. You still own the private key, and that was the key that we used to authenticate the tunnel. When you bring up an origin, you need to set up a secure tunnel to any of our anycasted edge nodes, and then your tunnel is available, or your origin is available. For those power users, including myself, if you bring up quite a bit of nodes for testing and so on and so forth, you need to ship around that private key all the time. And up until we don't really have the ability yet to create multiple keys. And so it was a bit of a challenge for some of us. And I also don't really think it's the right way to do. So even though you can still bring your own key pair, one of the things that we've changed is in the client right now is every time the client comes up and tries to connect an origin using a tunnel, what actually happens under the cover is that the mysocketctl client will, if needed, create a public-private key pair. And right before it brings up the tunnel, it will do what's called a CSR, a certificate signing request using our API, using your credentials. And the result is a short-lived 5-minute certificate, and that certificate will be used to authenticate against our services, and that will be the one that is used to set up the tunnel. And so everything is a little bit more ephemeral right now, and the certificates are very short-lived, so it's just to bring that up. So I think that makes it a little bit easier to use. You don't need to keep track of your own public-private key pair anymore. You still can, but for most of you, you probably don't want to, and you don't even want to think about that. And I think with that new feature, we've gotten there now. So I think in summary, everything we've worked on over the last 2 to 3 weeks was really to make mySocket easier to use and exposing some more of the performance information. I think we succeeded in that. We worked a little bit on our web skills. And it's just generally a lot easier to use. So I recommend to, please log in to portal.mysocket.io. This complete portal has actually been built off our public API. So it's not doing any database requests directly. This is all using the API calls that are documented here using the Open API spec. All right, well, that's it for this week. I hope this is interesting and useful, so please give it a spin. Have a great week, and if you find anything, just let me know and we can work on it. Thank you. Have a great week.